today, tonight, whatever the case may be. Shout out to everybody from the east to the west coast, from the west to the east coast, from the north to the south. Shout out to everybody right here today. We about to get into some news, y'all, because today it's one of those days where everything just feel like it's moving so fast. I'm talking about the news is just moving so fast. Like it's hard to even keep up with everything. Like it's almost like information overload. You know what I'm saying? So like tonight, today, everything is moving so fast. We got reports on the United States fighter jet was allegedly downed as Iran tensions escalate. What's up, Icy Fox? Welcome to the show, Icy Fox. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. All right. Like I was just saying right now, man, everything is moving so fast right now with all of the news that is coming out right now today. It's so much information overload. It's just a lot going on that we about to cover here in probably less than 60 minutes. So hopefully everybody can tune in, hit that like button on the way in. Shout out to everybody that's coming in right now, guys. Here we go. Let's get into it, okay? So we've got reports of the U.S. fighter jets allegedly down as Iran tensions escalate. Okay, shout out to everybody in the chat. Ginger, what's up, Ginger? How's it going? Icy Fox, where you been, man? Long time no see. Europe stepping in with a warning, right? Europe also stepped in with a warning to Iran, and we're going to read about that as well. We're also going to show some videos today, but we're going to read about it, you're going to see about it, and we're going to be about it. I'm scared if we have a World War III. Everybody is scared. Everybody is scared, right? That's the last thing we want is a World War III. Okay, let's hear. I heard about the war. Dolly, Dolly, Dolly. What's up, Dolly? Long time no see, Dolly. Long time no see, guys. So Europe is stepping in with a warning to Iran, right? There was a U.S. fighter jet that was shot down allegedly, right? I think it was a mistake from who was it that was it Kuwait? I believe it was Kuwait that shot this jet down that belonged to the United States, but they thought it was an Iranian jet, but they shot it down. Uh, but apparently no one was unalive, right? Everybody came out alive in that situation. All right, so we're gonna get into that. Congress, we're gonna get into Congress about to be briefed behind closed doors, and they are actually this already happened, so we're gonna read about that. Auntie K, hello, Auntie K, how's it going? Good to see Auntie K in the building. Good to see Dolly, Icy Fox, Ginger. Hope everybody is doing well. Scary times, absolutely. Right. So, I mean, like I said earlier, man, everything is moving so fast. It's so much information, so much news happening all at once. And so we're going to try to cover as much as we can. I wanted to also cover that the Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton depositions came out today. So we're gonna get into that. I'm probably not gonna cover it on this segment, but we're gonna definitely talk about that probably later on tomorrow or at some point. All right. So, President Trump saying that this operation could last 4 weeks or less, right? We already know that this is gonna last a little bit. It's gonna last longer than that, right? Iran is not just gonna fold their hand. Understand that. Iran is not gonna fold their hand, guys. They're not, right? We're talking about their livelihood, their way of life, and how they operate. Sure, there's a lot of celebrations going on in the street in Iran, right? People are happy that the uh, the prime minister or the president, whatever it is in Iran, people are happy that he was unalive, right? Even in the states, you got Iranians celebrating the death of Ayatollah. All right, that's his name, Ayatollah. So you got Iranian Americans celebrating this, and you got Iranians celebrating this, right? So somebody said Trump doesn't mess around either. Trump is not messing around right now, but Trump better get it together because at the end of the day, right? Per our constitution, you still have to have congressional authorization in order to enact war. Okay, so that's something that he's doing. He's stepping on a lot of toes at the same time, Ginger. Understand that. All right, so at the same time, we also have a story about the AI platform um, or surging after the Pentagon drama. All right, we're going to talk about that AI platform in a minute. And a new scrutiny is surfacing around Epstein connected medical records allegations. So apparently, there's some allegations out there that there was some doctors, y'all. There were some doctors who allegedly were giving out women patients, women's health records to Epstein, to Jeffrey Epstein. There were some doctors. I'm gonna tell y'all like this. What's up, Karina? Karina. I'm gonna tell y'all like this, man. Money will buy you anything. Money, money moves the world. I don't care if you're a doctor, lawyer, preacher, school teacher, whatever you are. Apparently, because you know what the Bible say, the love of money, the love of money is the root of all evil. So yes, apparently, allegedly, there was some doctors who was passing out women's health records to Jeffrey Epstein. All right, so we're gonna read into that. So now listen, some of this is confirmed, some of this is developing, and some of this needs some serious unpacking. So we ain't gonna assume anything, but we're gonna read about everything. You understand that? What's up, Jacob? We ain't gonna assume anything, but we're gonna read about everything. But we don't get into everything today, right? Because I told y'all about the Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton deposition that has come out. But we ain't gonna read about all of that today. All right. So tonight we're not reacting emotionally. We are using our brain. Use your brain. Use your brain. All right. We're separating the facts from speculation. We're looking at the timelines and we're asking one big question: is this considered escalation, or is chaos unfolding in real time? All right. So let's get into what happened with the fighter jet. All right, let's get into what happened with the fighter jet really quick. Let me just find that article right here. So CENTCOM confirmed three US F-15 fighter jets crashed in Kuwait in a friendly fire incident. All crews are safe. All right, so everybody that was on board that ship or that flight, that plane, that fighter jet, everybody was safe. All right, so let's get into it real quick. Matter of fact, let me that's a good thing, right? Let me find the article that I had earlier. Here we go. Right here. Here we go. So United States says Kuwait mistakenly downed three American jets during Iranian attack. All right, and we all know United States have bases in Kuwait. So I actually knew people who actually deployed to Kuwait personally. What's up, OG? OG in the building. What's going on, y'all? Okay. Um, Here's a video. I'm not sure if this is actually going to show us much. Maybe this video will show exactly what happened, but we'll see exactly what happened. Just give me a second. Oops. I think I hit next up. I did. All right, so I can't get that going right now. So three American fighter jets were mistakenly downed by friendly Kuwaiti fire Monday during the Iranian air assault. The United States military said all six crew members safely ejected from the F-15 Strike Eagles and were in stable condition after being recovered, the United States said. An attack by Iranian aircraft, missiles, and drones was underway at the time the planes were shot down. Iranian state television claimed that Iran had targeted one of the U.S. planes that crashed in Kuwait without elaborating. Explosions could be heard as one of the planes fell from the sky in flames, said witness Ahmad al Assar, who rushed to the scene with about a dozen others as an airman parachuted to the ground. So al Assar initially thought it was an Iranian pilot, but recognized he was American before rescuers whisked him away. Kuwait said its air defense had accidentally shot down the jets as part of its support for the United States combat operation in Iran. All right, U.S. Central Command said. Can you just imagine the chaos that's happening over there right now? Right, with Kuwait, Qatar, all of those surrounding countries that are right there in that area. Um, the UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, all of those people that are just right there, just in the thick of everything that's happening, right? And so the United States Air Force fighter jet were mistakenly shot down by Kuwaiti air defense. The military said Kuwait has acknowledged this incident, and we are grateful for the efforts for the Kuwaiti defense forces and their support in this ongoing operation. The cause of the incident was under investigation, the United States said. All right. Somebody said perhaps this is a cover up for the rogue Kuwaitis purposely taking down the jets. At some point, you just don't even know who you can trust, y'all. At some point, you don't know who you can trust. So let's see if we can get that video back up and going. Let's see if we can actually get that video back up and going. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but you might be able to see it. I don't know if you can hear it, but you might be able to see it. All right, so we're gonna get into the other article. I don't think there was much going on right there. So apparently, France, Germany, UK, in the UK. Shout out to everybody. Let me zoom that back out. Shout out to everybody that's in the UK, in France, in Germany. Apparently, France, Germany, and UK are also warning Iran right now. Right? They are warning Iran right now. I don't know if Europe is trying to cool things down, right? I don't know if that's what's happening here, but they are warning Iran too. So, Icy Fox said earlier, man. I hope this is not a World War Three, World War Three, man. I hope not either. But this is what happened right here. So let me get into this. The UK, France, Germany vowed defensive actions against Iran's missiles, drones capability. Iran has launched missiles and drone strikes on several Gulf countries, targeting U.S. bases after being hit by U.S. Israeli missile strikes. The UK, France, and Germany has vowed to take defensive actions to destroy Iran's capability to fire missiles and drones at the source. All right, and they took shots at Dubai, and I don't know if you guys heard about that, but Iran took shots at Dubai too, and Dubai had the defense system in place to stop the missiles. Literally, they had the defense systems in place to stop the missiles. Right? That's almost like some Call of Duty. I don't know if you guys play Call of Duty and you got that I forgot what it is, like that perk that you can get on Call of Duty where like if um if somebody they can set up you can set up this perk on Call of Duty, and then like if a fighter jet comes by or something like that, they could just shoot it down. It's a defense system. I don't know what it's called. Somebody could confirm what it is, but that's what this is, like some Call of Duty shit in real life. It's crazy. Let me see here. Which one is the most high factuality right here? I don't want to read the France article because France is going to have it in that language, so we ain't going to read that one. Hit that like button on the way in, guys. Hit that like button on the way in. All right, so European leaders condemn Tehran's regional strikes, vow protection of allies. All right, so you can see people are attending demonstrations in support of the United States and Israeli strikes on Iran in front of the U.S. Embassy in Berlin, Germany. All right. I can't get that picture to blow up, but you got people, you got Iranian Americans, you got Iranian Germans, right, in different places. What's up, JC? You got Iranian people in different countries who are celebrating um, what the United States and Israel are doing. Okay. All right, so France, Germany, and the UK says they're prepared to back strikes that would take out Iran's ability to launch missiles and drones. If it comes to that, in a joint statement, the three governments condemn what they called indiscriminate and disproportionate Iranian missiles and drone attacks across the region, saying the strikes threatened their troops and civilians and hit allies that weren't part of earlier U.S. Israeli operations against Iran. They warned they could support necessary and proportionate defensive actions aimed at disabling Iran's launch capabilities at their source, and said they will coordinate with the United States and regional partners. I don't think Iran is going to take any shots at the UK or Germany or I don't think they're going to take any shots. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're targeting U.S. bases in these different places, so I don't really know. But I doubt that's the case. I doubt that's the case. I haven't heard anything today about them doing that. Iran says it is hitting U.S. bases in response to the United States and Israeli strikes, with recent attacks reaching a multinational base near Arbil in northern Iraq and a German army camp in eastern Jordan. Germany reported no casualties there. A drone strike damaged a hangar at a French naval base in Abu Dhabi. And the British Defense Minister says Iranian missiles and drone strikes came within a few hundred yards of a group of hundreds of British military personnel in Bahrain. Okay. So they are taking shots at Germany. They are taking shots at different British militaries. Explosions were reported from Riyadh, Riyadh, Riyadh to Tel Aviv, and Israeli officials said at least 9 people were unalive in Belt Shemesh. Iran's president labeled the killing, the unaliving of Supreme Leader Ayatollah, a declaration of war against Muslims. While its foreign minister told ABC News the country would do whatever it takes to defend itself. And I told y'all earlier, Iran will not fold their hand. Iran will not fold their hand. They're not. They're not gonna do it. They're gonna fight them Muslims, bro. Them Arabs. They gonna Persians, right? I think Iranian is actually a Persian country. Them Persians, they're gonna fight. Oh, Riyadh, Riyadh. Okay, thank you, Ari. Thank you. Them Persians gonna fight to the death, bro. They're not gonna fold their hand. Y'all give me 1 second. Them Persians are gonna fight to the death, and they're not gonna fold the hand. So that's what's happening here, guys. That's what's happening. So Trump and Congress briefing, guys. Trump 4 weeks or less. Congress classified briefing today or Tuesday. All right. So let's get into that real quick right here. So Trump uh, gave a briefing today on what this operation is going to be about. All right. This is something Trump should have did initially. He should have did this ahead of time instead of just doing things on his own term. Right. Moving like a dictator. All right. So Trump gave a briefing today, and we're going to get into that right here, right now. Get into it right here, right now. All right, so Trump says Iran conflict could last weeks, warned of additional U.S. casualties and vows retaliation. On March the 2nd, President Donald Trump said U.S. military operation could last 4 to 5 weeks. I think it's going to be longer than that. I think it's going to be longer than that. All right. Yo, if you want detailing on the situation, check out War Fronts. All right. Thank you for that. I'll check him out when I can. Auntie K says he's an idiot. What's up, King Lopez? Uh, Basically, Iran a mountain fortress. Right. Right. Yeah, I have to check out War Fronts. I have to check them out, see what they're talking about. Especially if they covering the news in that region for sure, in the Gulf. All right, so Operation Epic Fury, launched by the U.S. and the Israeli forces on Saturday, targeted Ayatollah and struck Iranian missile sites, naval fleet, and air defense system. 3 U.S. service members were reported unalived and 5 seriously wounded, while Sitcom said B-2 stealth bombers hit Iranian ballistic missile site during Operation Epic Fury. Iran retaliated with strikes across the region, and Brent crude futures rose to Brent crude future rose to $78.24 a barrel, up $5.37 after the U.S. Israel strikes, according to the source. So, with global reactions split, President Donald Trump's signals have ranged from a quick end to a month-long campaign, while Western leaders urged renewed talks and Russia and China criticized the strikes. What? Russia and China criticized the strikes? Of course they did, y'all. Because this could affect the Strait of Hormuz. Is that how you say it? The Strait of Hormuz, Hormuz, or something like that. The Strait of Hormuz, the passageway for the oil, one of the biggest passageways of the oil movement. Um, so that's why China and Russia is gonna criticize that. They worried about their money. They worried about the money. They worry about the money. So let's get this article right here from the roll call. Republicans send mixed signals on Trump's Iran war objective. Senator Rick Scott says hopefully less radical figures will show up to lead Islamic Republic. All right, President Donald Trump cast aside his anti-war persona by ordering U.S. military strikes on Iran and helping Israel decapitate the Islamic Republic government, leaving Republican lawmakers in a lurch to defend him with a number of contradictory statements. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Here we go. Here we go. The United States Commander in Chief on Monday, as the conflict spread across the Middle East, cited a need to take out Tehran's nuclear ambitions, missile systems, navy, and ability to support violent proxy groups. But speaking from the White House East Room at the start of a Medal of Honor ceremony, he also hailed the decapitation of a terrorist regime that he dubbed sick and sinister. He also cited frustration with Iranian officials negotiating tactics in talks that were ongoing as recently as late last week. We thought we had a deal, but then they backed out and they came back, and we thought we had a deal and they backed out again, said President Trump. You can't deal with these people, said President Trump. Republicans fanned out in the hours after U.S. and Israeli aircraft and ships on Saturday began pounding targets inside Iran, leading to the death of Supreme Leader Ayatollah. All right, but their statement did not neatly align, leaving the administration end goals very much in question. Jonathan Panikoff, a former National Intelligence Council official on Monday said, there is confusion about this administration's strategic rationale and goal inside Iran. There are challenges in terms of who is in charge and engaged in decision makings on the Iranian side, he said during a briefing call hosted by the Atlantic Council, where he is director of the think tank Middle East Security Initiative. All right. So, Florida Republican Senator Rick Scott, a member of the Foreign Relations and Armed Services Committee, told Fox News Sunday Morning Futures program that the administration long-term strategy was based largely on hope. So, many Republicans are actually criticizing this operation. Um, I want to say Lindsey Graham even said something about this operation. Somebody said that Donald Trump don't have a plan. This coming from the Republican side. A lot of them are saying he don't have a real end goal, a real plan in place. I hope we can get this done in the next month. It all depends on whoever the leader is, the new leader in Iran. They do care about their people, ever. I mean, do they care about their people ever? We know the Ayatollah didn't care about the people. He just unalived tens of thousands in just these protests just recently, Rick Scott said. So hopefully somebody will show up that cares about the people of Iran and says enough is enough. Rick Scott added, we want to get back and be part of the world economy and give opportunity to all the people of Iran. That's what all of us would like. All right. So surviving Iranian government officials and spokesmen during television interviews over the weekend said a constitutional process already was underway to select a new supreme leader. All right. So Ted Cruz, a Republican Foreign Relation Committee member, was clear on Sunday that he understood the ultimate objective was to take out uh, Ayatollah and many other senior government and military officials. Ted Cruz is he's such a hypocrite. He is such a hypocrite, y'all. I'm telling y'all. But we already know that controlled opposition. Controlled opposition, bro. He also goes on to say, I spent the entire day with President Trump on Friday, right before he launched these attacks. He told CBS, referring to traveling with Trump on Air Force One for a trip to Corpus Christi to speak about energy prices. He and I discussed this at length on Friday. My counsel to him was that the Iranian regime has never been weaker, that it was teetering, and now was the time. My advice was do not miss this opportunity, Cruz said. Mm, 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 mm. I think the president has acted boldly. He acted decisively in Iran no longer being led by a theocratic, murderous dictator that makes America much, much safer. All right. But Rick Scott says Sunday the objective is to stop their short and medium range missiles, adding, if we didn't, our troops, our servicemen and women would have been at risk all throughout the Middle East, including our ally Israel. All right. All right. This article is long, y'all. It's a lot. It's a lot. So we're gonna get into a video right here. We're gonna see what the president actually said about this topic. So here we go, chat.
Thank you very much, Chaplain. Great, wonderful job. Appreciate it. And thank everybody for being here. And please feel free to sit. So before we begin this important ceremony, and there's no ceremony that can be much more important than this, let me provide a brief update on Operation Epic Fury. Today, the United States military continues to carry out large-scale combat operations in Iran to eliminate the grave threats posed to America by this terrible terrorist regime. Following our obliteration of Iran's nuclear program in Operation Midnight Hammer a short while ago, we warned Iran not to make any attempt to rebuild at a different location because they were unable to use the ones that we so powerfully blew up. But they ignored those warnings and refused to cease their pursuit of nuclear weapons. In addition, the regime's conventional ballistic missile program was growing rapidly and dramatically, and this posed a very clear, colossal threat to America and our forces stationed overseas. The regime already had missiles capable of hitting Europe and our bases, both local and overseas, and would soon have had missiles capable of reaching our beautiful America. The purpose of this fast-growing missile program was to shield their nuclear weapon development and make it extraordinarily difficult for anyone to stop them from making these highly forbidden by us nuclear weapons. We were the ones that were complaining. We were the ones that wanted it stopped, but everybody was behind us. They just didn't have the courage to say so. An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat to the Middle East, but also to the American people. Our country itself would be under threat, and it was very nearly under threat. I was very proud to have knocked out the Iran nuclear deal by President Barack Hussein Obama. That was a horrible, horrible, dangerous document. They would have had nuclear weapons 3 years ago, and they would have used them. But I'll not let that happen. For almost 47 years, this regime has been attacking the United States and killing Americans. Every time you see someone with missing arms and legs or a face that's been absolutely shattered violently, it was almost certainly caused by an Iran roadside bomb. They were put there by General Soleimani, who was the father of the roadside bomb. Very proudly, he thought, but I terminated him in my first term. This was our last best chance to strike what we're doing right now and eliminate the intolerable threats posed by this sick and sinister regime. And they are indeed sick and sinister. Our objectives are clear. First, we're destroying Iran's missile capabilities, and you see that happening on an hourly basis, and their capacity to produce brand new ones and pretty good ones they make. Second, we're annihilating their navy. We've knocked out already 10 ships. They're at the bottom of the sea. Third, we're ensuring that the world's number one sponsor of terror can never obtain a nuclear weapon. Never going to have a nuclear weapon. I said that from the beginning. They're never going to have a nuclear weapon. They were on the road to getting one legitimately through a deal that was signed foolishly by our country. And finally, we're ensuring that the Iranian regime cannot continue to arm, fund, and direct terrorist armies outside of their borders. And we thought we had a deal, but then they backed out. And they came back, and we thought we had a deal, and they backed out. And I said, you can't deal with these people. You got to do it the right way. Today, we grieve for the four heroic American service members who have been killed in action and send our love and support to their families. In their memory, we continue this mission with ferocious, unyielding resolve to crush the threat this terrorist regime poses to the American people, and a threat indeed it is. We have the strongest and most powerful by far military in the world, and we will easily prevail. We're already substantially ahead of our time projections, but whatever the time is, it's okay. Whatever it takes, we will always, and we have right from the beginning, we projected 4 to 5 weeks, but we have capability to go far longer than that. We'll do it. Whatever somebody said today, they said, "Oh well, if the president wants to do it really quickly. After that, he'll get bored." I don't get bored. There's nothing boring about this. Do you agree with that, Pete? I don't think there's anything, Mr. General. I think there's nothing boring about it. Somebody actually said from the media, "I think you'll get bored after about a week or two." No, we don't get bored. I never get bored. If I got bored, I wouldn't be standing here right now. I guarantee you that. To go through what I had to go through. We also projected 4 weeks to terminate the military leadership, and as you know, that was done in about an hour, so we're ahead of schedule there by a lot. But please join me in thanking every American service member who bravely is standing in harm's way. They really are incredible, and I just want to thank you. We have a lot of them right here. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. We have a lot of great service members here with us, too, in this beautiful building. Isn't it beautiful? We're adding on to the building a little bit. We're improving the building. See that nice drape? When that comes down, right now you see a very, very deep hole. But in about a year and a half from now, you're
All
going to see
right.
a very, very beautiful building.
So he about to get into
And there's
something
your
else.
entrance to it.
But this story just came in. Hold on, guys. We got another breaking story that just came in, chat. Another breaking story just came in. Give me a second. Let me get it. Let me get it. Let me get it. Here we go. Sitcom just came in 30 minutes ago. Breaking story just came in 30 minutes ago. Sitcom says two more United States service members unalive in Iran fighting, raising the death toll to six, total six. All right, so this just came in 27 minutes ago. Let me see. Okay, so the Times of Israel, the Times of Israel. All right, article just came in. Live update. Sitcom says two more U.S. service members was just unalived in the fighting in Iran fighting, raising the death toll to six. The U.S. Central Command says the total of six American soldiers have been unalived amid the ongoing conflict with Iran after the bodies of two more service members were located. Guys, it's more than that. It's more than that. U.S. forces recently recovered the remains of two previously unaccounted for service members from a facility that was struck during Iran's initial attack in the region. Sitcom does not provide further details on the circumstances that led to their deaths. All right. Major combat operation continues. The identities of the fallen are being withheld until 24 hours after next of kin notifications, Sitcom has added. All right, so that was just in chat. We just got that live update. All right, now the United States service members death toll is up to six now in Iran. All right, so that's six U.S. soldiers that has been unalived in this initial start of the war, whatever we want to call it. It's a war operation, whatever it is. All right, what's up, Dirt? Dirt in the building. So that was just in. I had to give y'all that because it came in as we were watching the video. Literally, we got that update as we was watching the video. All right, all right. Oh, we got another report that just came in. We got another report. This report is coming from Iran. Iran says the Strait of Hormuz, right, has closed. Oh, 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 oh. That's why China and Russia said this fucking strike, this war, this shit that's going on right now, they do not stand for it. Man, we about to see prices skyrocket. Chat prices, the gas prices, all this shit is about to just skyrocket, y'all. Get ready, get ready, get ready, y'all. Say you better get ready to come out your pockets because prices about to skyrocket, y'all. Iran said the Strait of Hormuz is closed, vows to hit ships trying to pass. Mm, 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 mm. How did we know Iran was gonna take these measures right here? How did we know Iran was gonna use this playbook? How? On Monday, Iran Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps declared the Strait of Hormuz closed, and Ibrahim Jabari warned the guards and navy will set ships ablaze if they try to pass. If they try to pass through. All right. So let me find uh, an English source on this. Let me find an English source on this. Give me a second. That's coming out of Tel Aviv right there. I think that's in English. Yeah. Let's see. Here we go. Here we go. Let me find the one. This one is coming out of the Times of Israel once again. This one is coming out. All right. Okay. Iran's Revolutionary Guard commander says the Strait of Hormuz is closed and Iran is to set fire to any ship trying to pass. Iranian media reports. The move comes after Supreme Leader Ayatollah was unalived in an Israeli strike, and the closure threatens to choke a fifth of the global oil flows and send crude prices sharply higher. I told y'all, chat. I told y'all. It's about to go down. It's about to go down. Prices are about to skyrocket. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. I can give the German news for this. Okay. Okay. The closure of the Strait of Hormuz, right? The oil passage threatens to choke a fifth of the global oil flows and send crude prices sharply higher. Mm, 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 mm. Lord have mercy. Mm. This is about to affect everybody. This is about to affect you and I. You and I. Yep. That's what is about to happen, guys. That is what about to happen. All right. Here we go. All right, so let's get into this, guys. The Pentagon versus the AI Claude surge. All right, Pentagon versus the AI Claude surge. So let me see if I can find this article that I wanted to put out there, guys, about this real quick. Where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? I gotta find this article, guys. Bear with me real quick. Hit that like button on the way in, chat. Hit that like button. Somebody just got timed out for 86,000 seconds. 86,000 seconds. How the hell you get timed out for 86,000 seconds? Oh, that's why you got timed out for 86,000 seconds. Oh my goodness. All right. Here we go. Anthropic. Anthropic's Claude. I don't know if it's Claude or Claude. Anthropic's Claude. I'm going to say Claude. All right. Anthropic Claude. All right. The AI server. Anthropic's Claude hits #1 on Apple's top free apps list after the Pentagon rejected their services. All right. So Anthropic Claude surged to #1 on Apple's U.S. App Store on Saturday, displacing ChatGPT and Gemini. Damn. After look, I seen a lot of people on Instagram talking about this. I really did. I seen a lot of people talking about, oh, they're gonna support these people. They're gonna, they're gonna support Anthropic or Claude or whatever. They're gonna support this AI. A lot of people are supporting this. Obviously, that's what they're doing. After Anthropic refused to lift its safeguards, President Donald Trump ordered federal agencies to stop using its product due to bans on mass surveillance and autonomous weapons. Sensor Tower data show Claude moved from outside the top 100 at the end of January to top 20 in February, with free users up to 60% and sign-ups tripling, while Katy Perry's $214.99 Claude Pro screenshot went viral Saturday. Guys, let's get into this story more. Let me find this article real quick. Here we go. So Anthropic may have lost out on doing business with the United States government, but it's gained enough popularity to earn the #1 spot on the App Store top free apps leaderboard. At the top, Claude beat out ChatGPT and Google Gemini, which respectively sit at the second and third spots on Apple free apps charts. The sudden surge in users download isn't random. It follows news that President Trump has barred any federal agency from using Anthropic's Claude or other AI tools after the AI company refused to concede on certain guardrails. After declining to have its AI models be used for mass domestic surveillance, right? That's what the Pentagon the Pentagon that's what they wanted to do. Man, shout out to JC. JC with the 50 ball, man. Thank you, JC. I appreciate you, man, for the 50 ball. It says, congratulations on monetization, Dom. Thank you, JC. Much love to you, bro. Appreciate that. Appreciate that love, JC. Appreciate you. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. And JC said he said he was gonna send me a super chat. He kept his word, man. Thank you, JC, man. I appreciate that, man. I really do. Um, so Anthropic uh, the sudden surge in users' downloads isn't random. It follows the news after President Trump has barred any federal agents from using Anthropic's Claude or other AI tools after the AI company refused to concede on certain guardrails. After declining to have its AI models be used for mass domestic surveillance and follow autonomous weapons. Anthropic was also threatened with a supply chain risk labeled by the Department of Defense. So they tried to take them out, y'all. This is one of the best AI, um, one of the best AI apps, one of the best AI tools that the government was using, right? And the fact that they just took it away, right? And they tried to cut him out. They tried to cut him literally. They tried to cut him and threatened to cut ties with his supply chain, literally across the whole supply chain. The Department of Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. The very public spat led to a wave of user support that finally allowed Claude to dethrone OpenAI's ChatGPT on the App Store as the most downloaded free app. Have y'all even heard about this app, y'all? Anthropic? Have y'all heard about that AI app? Anthropic? No problem, Dom. I enjoy your live streams. Thank you, JC. I know you do, man. You show up here all the time. While OpenAI has stepped into Anthropic's shoes after agreeing to a deal with the Department of Defense, the CEO still offered up some thoughts about the debacle during a AMA on X. Even though Claude is a competing model, Sam Altman said that Anthropic's supply chain risk designation was a very bad decision uh, that he's hoping get reversed. On top of that, OpenAI CEO called Anthropic's blacklisting an extremely scary precedence, but he's still hopeful for a much better resolution. All right, all right. So Anthropic can now absorb your past conversations with other AI chatbots. So if you if you go and download Anthropic, right? I'll show y'all Anthropic Claude. It's a new AI right here, Anthropic Claude. If you go and download this AI app, right, you can now absorb your past conversations with other AI chatbots. So if you have Chat GPT, if you're using Chat GPT or Google Gemini, whatever you're using, right, you can download this app They'll go and get your conversations, what you had on your other apps. The new memory import tools capitalizes on Claude growing popularity and the recent ChatGPT boycott. Uh, what? 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 Anthropic has made switching to its Claude AI chatbots easier than ever. The company announced a new memory import tool that can extract all of a competing AI chatbot's memories and context of you into a text prompt that can be fed into Claude. Wow. With Anthropic's prompt, you can then copy and paste the output into Claude's memory, and the AI chatbots will pick up where you left off with another AI chatbot, whether it's ChatGPT, Gemini, or Copilot. Anthropic said it'll take about 24 hours for Claude to assimilate the new context, but you'll be able to see the changes by clicking on the See What Claude Learned About You button. Claude users can even tweak what the AI chatbots remembers in the Manage Memory section in the app settings. Anthropic pointed out that Claude is meant to focus on work related topics to enhance its effectiveness as a collaborator, adding that it might not remember personal details that are unrelated to work. So Anthropic's timing doesn't seem to be just as coincidence. Claude recently jumped to the number one spot in the App Store free apps chart, dethroning ChatGPT in the process. The rise in popularity likely stems from his recent dispute with the Department of Justice, where Anthropic refused to budge on AI guardrails related to mass domestic surveillance and fully autonomous weapons. All right. So on the other hand, OpenAI will be taking Anthropic's vacated role with the Department of Defense, leading to a trend of user boycotting ChatGPT and canceling their subscriptions. Mm, 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 mm. Wow, I didn't know people were boycotting ChatGPT. I didn't know they was boycotting it. Maybe y'all can tell me why they boycotting it. I don't know why. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. All right. So we're gonna move on to this next story, guys. We're gonna move on to this next story about the doctors who were uh, sending personal information. The doctors who were sending personal information, women's personal health records, to Jeffrey Epstein. This story came out today. Man, I'm telling y'all, this news move quick. News move quick. We just got another update. U.S. gasoline crosses $3 per gallon on average. On average. Okay, I can't confirm that. It's only one source on that, so I'm not gonna confirm that. So that's just allegedly. I don't know how true that is. So it's only one source on that. So we ain't gonna confirm that, guys. We are not going to confirm that. All right. Here we go. Here we go, y'all. Here we go, right here. All right. So doctors were complicit in Epstein's abuse. Survivors must now be priority. All right. So a spectacle around Uh, de- uh, Jeffrey Epstein depra- dep- depravity is overshadowing rights and justice for the survivors of the sex offenders in his network, which included doctors' rights, Jacqueline Clark. All right. So the theme for International Women's Day 2026 is rights, justice, and actions for all women and girls. By contrast, 8 March this year would be marred by the grim reality that it took a dead man's email for the world to believe the testimonies of hundreds of women and girls. Many observers have approximately expressed shock and disgust at the crimes of Jeffrey Epstein and his associates. But we are overlooking doctors' involvements and what SA means for the health of the victims. Epstein, a wealthy businessman and socialite, was given an 18-month jail term in 2008 after pleading guilty to soliciting and procuring a child for prostitution. The true scale of his abuse was massive. A long standing ST ring, enabled by powerful associates that abuse women and children all over the world. Epstein died in prison in 2019 while awaiting trial on federal charges of ST. The recent release of millions of documents known as the Epstein file by the U.S. Department of Justice is revealing how expansive and disturbing his network of exploitation was. UN Human Rights Council experts have said that the pedophilia, the slavery, and torture of girls and women, this abuse entailed amounts to crimes against humanity. Okay, so health washing by doctors enabled Epstein. They called it health washing. Health washing? Health washing. JC said, what's up, Dusty? Chris, what's going on, Chris? JC said they confirmed on CNN that gas and oil prices will rise due to the United States and Iran war. There you go. So that source I was about to read, they had some truth to it. I just didn't want to read it because it was only um, one source. And I usually, when I read something, it has to have at least five to ten sources attached to it, um, just to give it some more factualities. So, what is underappreciated amid the media storm is the patronage of health leaders that burnished Epstein's reputation and status. The files revealed that even after Epstein was convicted and imprisoned for sex involving young women as of 14 years old, prominent doctors still sought his fraternity, including longevity medicine guru Peter Attia, forerunner of United States preventive medicine Dean Ornish, top urologist Harry Fish, and current administrator of the U.S. Centers of Medicare and Medicaid Services, uh, Mehmet Oz, among others. Some some of these people gave Epstein medical advice, provided home visits, and exchanged crude emails about women. Wow. They joined a network of university leaders and scientists internationally that Epstein funded and socialized with, sometimes involving troubling interests such as eugenics, even after he was convicted as a SO. For doctors, the proximity to wealth and power and the way in which associating with Epstein's elevated their own social status seemingly compromised their integrity, due diligence, and decency. A group of women doctors helped to expose the extent to which medical professionals abetted Epstein's credibility. The group included doctors and writer Gunter, who used her Substack and social media platforms to speak up and demand accountability. In a recent post, Gunner said that doctors' patronage of Epstein's helped him to create an aura of safety and respectability to allow him to continue to do what he was doing. This is health washing, not brainwashing, health washing. This health washing helped sanitize Epstein's reputation and behavior. The doctor enabling women's rights and dignity to be violated undermines trust in the profession. That's facts. That's facts. Survivors deserve more attention. Sexual exploitation and abuse have devastating physical and mental health harms that often last a lifetime. The harms are compounded by survivors' experiences of being ignored or silenced. Women raised concerns about Epstein's criminal behavior in 1990, but weren't taken seriously by authorities. This is a common form of re-victimization, extending trust and impunity to male perpetrators while dismissing or gaslighting girls and women when they seek help. It is also a serious failure of justice. If victims are not believed, future violence cannot be prevented. When women's collective voices were finally listened to, their brave advocacy fueled public pressure and eventual release of the Epstein files that revealed further details of how widespread the predation, abuse, and trafficking were. Yet again, protection of women failed when the Department of Justice botched redactions that exposed personal and medical information, while the names of many men associated with Epstein remained protected. The harms to the survivors of Epstein and his network of perpetrators are devastating, but the depravity in the files should not be seen as an isolated case. Violence towards women happens daily everywhere and is a leading cause of ill health globally. Over 1 billion people have experienced childhood SA, and 600 million women and girls have experienced physical and sexual violence. No other issue affecting a billion people receives less attention in health priorities and agenda. So, rights and justice now. Pushing for further transparency to unmask perpetrators and their crimes is vital, but release of documents themselves must not be seen as fulfilling rights obligations or delivering justice to survivors. The Department of Justice is not pursuing additional criminal charges or investigations, allowing perpetrators to live freely. The doctors and scientists who enabled Epstein will carry on with their happy lives. As health professionals, we should use the full weight of our responsibilities and credibility to push for stronger accountability and prevention of all violence towards women and children, as well as recognition of it as a health issue. We have an obligation to do no harm, act with integrity, and ensure zero tolerance for behavior that compromises women and girls' rights. Rights and justice demand investigation and punitive action for those who abuse or exploit others. Those names in the Epstein files should be fully investigated by authorities and their institutions. All right. So we already know, man. Donald Trump already claimed that he's exonerated of everything, so he won't be investigated. The Democrats right now are pushing. They are pushing for Howard Lupnick deposition, right? After the following of Bill Clinton's deposition and Hillary Clinton, they're trying to push for Donald Trump's deposition, but Republicans are not having it. Republicans are defending the president to the T. They're not going to let it happen. So it won't be no bipartisanship on that issue. Trust and believe that. Trust and believe that. All right. I enjoyed that article. That was a good article. That was a good article. That was a good article. All right. So this is gonna be the last video of the night, guys. We're gonna get into this video. Nick Fuentes, he said this is the end of the MAGA movement. Nick Fuentes said this is the end of the MAGA movement. So we're gonna see what he got to say, and then we're gonna close out for tonight, guys. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for tapping that screen, man. Let's get the 20 likes. Get the 20 likes. Bunch of cowards. Facts. Bunch of cowards, man. To be able to take advantage of women and children like that. We know it. We know these women are not just coming up with stories out of their ass. Hey, yeah, 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 yeah. Let me see which one I want to get into real quick. Right? Oh yeah, let's get into this real quick. Hold on. Before we get into Nick, this is the video. This is the video right here.
Would like to request that Donald Trump send Barron Trump into this war where, as Donald said, there will be casualties, American heroes. You see, my brother is one of those heroes. He's in the military, and our family did not start this war or choose this war. Your family, Donald, did. So send your son. A growing uproar is spreading among MAGA voters and from across the world after military action against Iran sparked criticism, fear, and fierce debate. This video explores why some Americans are outraged and what people from across the country are saying about the crisis. Listen closely to these first-hand reactions from both sides of this issue. The United States and Israel just launched a full-out military attack on Iran. And if you people don't think this is about the midterm elections, think again. We are trapped in a neon circus run by a horror show ringmaster who somehow keeps dodging the law while the tents fucking burn all around him. This man can stagger through speeches, lose the thread mid-sentence, invent enemies out of fucking thin air, and still half the country treats it like gospel carved into fucking stone. The other half watches in horror, wondering if the Emperor Trump even knows he's naked. It's not politics anymore. It's mass freaking hypnosis. He's a convicted felon. That's ink on paper. Permanent. His name swims through the Epstein swamp, a place where sunlight goes to die. And instead of answers, we get smoke. Smoke grenades and rage tweets fired into the sky at 3 in the morning, like distress flares from a sinking ship. And where the fuck are the thousands of MAGA warlords? Where'd they go? The ones screaming to me, libtard, screaming TDS, hiding behind cheap insults, like scared little animals baring their little plastic teeth. Where'd you go? If he's your savior, stand up and defend the fucker with the facts, instead of playground graffiti. His speech about the current Iran war, about enemies within, about retribution, building up ICE to keep the people freaking quiet, about tightening his grip on the voting machinery of our country that decides who wins and who freaking loses. So fucking answer this, mega minions. Do you want a country run by laws or a country run by one man's materialistic, power-hungry fucking appetite? That's the truth. Summoners, use this promo code to get Ultimate Death Knight for free.
Yo, MAGA's going crazy right now.
If you're making less than 200 grand a year, you're in the wrong industry. You have to be in tech.
MAGA is going crazy right now.
In data. And so the friendly reminder, I don't want to hear not one fucking Republican crying when their kid comes home in a casket from overseas because the copper-tone coward deemed them a worthy sacrifice. You chose this. You voted for this, even though we told you what would happen. So I myself have not a single fucking ounce of sympathy for you and your tears. But bartender, we have to stop them from getting weapons of mass destruction. First of all, what we not finna do is fall for propaganda from 2001 for a second time, folks. And second, didn't the Bone Spur Bandit just brag about blowing their nuclear program to smithereens the last time we did this shit? There's about to be a draft opened in America calling our young men and women to go and die in Donald Trump's war to keep himself out of prison. I don't want to hear a single MAGA member complain, not my baby, not my baby. I don't want to hear a single MAGA member falling over the casket of their son or daughter, screaming, not my baby.
Not my baby.
Not my baby.
Not my baby.
This is what you voted for, MAGA.
Come on.
What are we doing? Isn't Congress supposed to be the one that declares war?
Yep.
And we're attacking Iran again to do with its nuclear program. Didn't we obliterate it back in June? Was that just a blatant lie or blatant incompetence in thinking that it was obliterated? I don't think there's another answer. Getting a nuclear weapon, if the United States obliterated their enrichment program last summer?
So we bombed them last June, right? Took out their nuclear plants, right? Where they were hiding all their weapons, right? Perfectly designed and designated attack to the T last June, right? So what are we doing? Why are we doing this?
Come on.
I'm a conservative. I'm a Republican, people.
No.
But this is not okay.
What?
Get out of the brainwashed mentality that you're all in. Step out of it for a second and look at the big picture here. What is actually going on and why is this happening?
We know why.
I can't be the only one that thinks this. As a Republican, as a conservative, I cannot be the only one. I know I'm not.
Okay, first of all, the people that were Trump supporters are posting this clip of him. I don't know how many years ago it was, but anyway, it's being posted everywhere.
Let me see it.
Think of it. We've spent $8 trillion in the Middle East, and we're not fixing our roads in this country. How stupid is it? And we're not fixing our highways, our tunnels, our bridges, our hospitals even, our schools even. It's crazy.
I'm seeing this resurgence of this tweet from them where they were the pro peace ticket and where they tried to scare you if you vote for Kamala, your kid's going into World War III. They're finding and posting any old tweets about Iran and Obama and how going there would be terrible and how Obama will do it for this and that. Here's just one set of these right here.
Let me see.
And there's a lot more.
All
Yeah,
propaganda.
so just single ones are being posted everywhere, and then people have different clusters of them.
So she
I
said
have
why.
videos like from
We're
Mumbai.
gonna get back to that, but she said why. I'm gonna tell y'all exactly why right here, bro. I'm gonna tell y'all exactly why. Right here. We finna figure out, we finna unravel this whole thing, guys. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. We almost at 20 likes. Get those likes up, guys. Get those likes up to 20 likes. All right, guys. So here we go. All right, so let's think about this, right? Here's a thread that was put out on X. All right. Maduro was captured. Venezuela oil reached Israel. Israel and the United States bombed Iran. Right? Iran just restricted the Strait of Hormuz, whatever. I think it's Hormuz. All right. If Iran closes Hormuz, Israel Gulf oil supply is cut. All right. So where does the backup come from? Where does the backup come from? Where does the backup come from? Right? If the Strait of Hormuz is cut, is halted, right? And Israel can no longer get their oil supply from the Strait of Hormuz, where would Israel get their backup oil from, chat? Who knows? Where will Israel get the backup oil from? If they can't get it from that region of Iran, if they can't get it from that region in the Gulf, right? 1/5 of oil come from that region. If they can't get it from there, right? Where did we just go into? Where did the United States just go into? Which country that we just went into and took their leader out and arrested the leader? What country? What country, chat? Y'all must be sleep. Y'all must be sleep, chat. Where y'all at? Y'all sleep? All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all because y'all taking too long. Y'all taking too long. All right. So pay attention. Maduro was captured. Maduro was captured. Venezuelan oil reached Israel. Israel and United States bombed Iran. Iran just restricted their oil supply in the Strait of Hormuz. All right. If Iran closes their oil supply, Israel's Gulf's oil supply is cut. All right. So if Iran can't get their oil from their usual, so where does the backup come from? The backup comes from Venezuela. That was the whole reason why. Look, this operation was all about the oil. It was all about the oil. It was all about controlling the oil in the Gulf and controlling Venezuela's oil. That's what it was about. All right. This was never about liberation. Okay. Most of the world's oil is forced through four narrow choke points. All right. Yes, Auntie Kate, it was all planned. Most of the world's oil is forced through four narrow choke points. Hormuz, the Strait of Hormuz between Iran and Oman. All right. The Suez Canal, right? Which is the canal, the region from Israel to Egypt. Okay. The the Babel Mendeb, the Babel Mendeb, the strait linking the Red Sea to the Indian Ocean. All right, and the last one, the last choke point is Bosporus. Bosporus is the Turkish strait linking the Black Sea to the Mediterranean. All right, so they are narrow sea gates and they move energy. All right, these four narrow choke points all move oil, move the world's oil. All right, if one closes, if one of those choke points closes, oil will spike. If oil spike, everything rises. All right. So what Iran did today, right? Cutting off that the passageway through the Strait of Hormuz, right? The prices are just gonna skyrocket. We already talked about that. You just said CNN confirmed that prices may rise. It's gonna happen, guys. All right. All right. So the Strait of Hormuz handles roughly 20% of the world's oil supply every single day. Every single day, 365 days of the year, right? Remember, that's the region between Iran and Oman, the Strait of Hormuz. All right. So 20% of the world's oil supply every single day. That's 1 in 5 barrels of oil on Earth forced through one narrow waterway. All right. So Suez, Bab el Mandeb connects the Gulf oil to Europe. All right. Bosporus moves Russian and Caspian exports. These are global pressure valves, and that's why we read in that article earlier where China and Russia, they both condemned these strikes on Iran. Both countries. That's why everybody is fearing right now. They're fearing a World War III. Everybody is fearing a World War III right now because so many people are being affected. So many countries are being affected by what's happening right here, and that's why I can't even, I really can't understand. I can understand Republicans. It's good to see some of these people coming out and criticizing the president, but these are just the voter base, right? It's rare that you see like the actual Republican leaders actually condemn him, right? They're gonna back him up. That's why you see Ted Cruz backing him up, even though years ago he criticized Donald Trump. Years ago, years ago. All right. So what is the Strait of Hormuz? The Strait of Hormuz is a narrow water passage between Iran and Oman. It is the narrowest point. It's only about 21 miles wide. That's smaller than many cities. Yet 1 out of every 5 barrels of oil passes through it daily. All right. Why is that? Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, the UAE, and Qatar all export their oil through the Persian Gulf, but there's only one exit, Hormuz. It's a bottleneck. Iran borders the northern side of the strait. It has naval bases, missile systems, fast attack boats, and mines. Iran cannot easily defeat the United States militarily, but it doesn't need to. It only needs to threaten the passage, and that's exactly what we saw today with them cutting off the supply, the movement of supply of the oil. All right. So what happens if it closes? If oil cannot leave the Gulf, the oil supply drops, prices spike within hours, shipping insurance rises, energy market panics, gas prices rise next, then transport costs, then food, then flights. So who has the leverage? Who has the leverage, chat? Iran or US and Israel? Who has the leverage? What's the game plan from Donald Trump? I mean, obviously he ain't gonna lay out the game plan to the American people because he's gonna be laying it out to the enemies abroad. So he ain't gonna lay out the game plan, but do he have a game plan? I think Iran has the leverage. Why? Because what they're doing is not only affecting the United States and Israel, it's affecting everybody. It's affecting everybody. That's why China condemned the strikes. That's why Russia condemned the strikes. Because out of those four choke points, passageways in which the oil is distributed, Russia and China is is two of the countries that are being exported to, literally, or imported to. All right. In a regional war, Hormuz doesn't need to be physically closed. Insurance spikes, shipping halts, tankers reroute, supply drops overnight. If Hormuz is threatened, distant reserve become vital. like the Venezuelan oil reserves. That's why Venezuela was um, infiltrated. That's why Venezuela was um, taken over. It was used as an oil reserve in case this operation didn't go as planned, right? How far are they gonna let this mentally ill man go when they do say enough is enough? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't. I don't know if it's just Trump have too many people behind him. Like Trump really have some goons behind him who, who are willing to. I mean, you got some Supreme Court judges who came out and said that ever since the felony cases and different rulings on Donald Trump, a lot of these Supreme Court judges, their lives have been threatened. You can go watch some of the 60-minute interviews from some of these one of these Supreme Court justice judges, right? Came out and said that his life was threatened after he ruled on Donald Trump in court. Relaxed white men in America have been neutered by Israel. All right. So import dependent countries faces shortages immediately. Israel produces no oil. Israel produces no oil. None. They don't produce any. All right, meaning it imports all of its energy supply, and that's why they had to get rid of who? Maduro. Maduro. That's why they had to get rid of Maduro. They never cared about Venezuelans or Americans. A prolonged disruption through the Hormuz becomes a wartime vulnerability. All right. Venezuela. So we talked about the Strait of Hormuz. Now we're going to talk about Venezuela. Venezuela has the largest proven oil reserves on earth outside of the Persian Gulf. It is accessible by Atlantic routes. No Hormuz is required. They don't even need the Hormuz for their routes. If Gulf oil is threatened, Venezuela oil is Israel's backup plan. Backup suppliers are secured before checkpoints fail, right? And so that's why we saw it happen the way it happened. Maduro was taken first, Ayatollah was unalive second. Maduro was taken first, Venezuela grabbed the oil. Donald Trump says we have more than 80 million barrels coming in. Where are they at? Israel. That's where these barrels are. Israel. Why they're in Israel? Backup reserves in case this operation in Iran did not go as planned. All right. So in a long-term Gulf conflict, Venezuela crude oil becomes backup supply, energy insurance, and strategic leverage. Okay. Strategic leverage. So what kind of leverage though? Because if Iran is closing their it's going I'm telling y'all it's going to ruffle feathers everywhere. It's going to disrupt the supply. But the thing is, right? If China and Russia cannot get their energy from Iran, right? Then what are they going to do? Now they're going to be upset, right? Our China and Russia is going to be upset. Who knows what they're going to do? Are they going to come in? They're going to bring their warships in. They're going to bring their people in with the United States on the other side, Israel in the midst. Like China coming, like what and what is so what is Israel is going to use that leverage, the 80 million barrels from Venezuela. They're going to use that as leverage to um to take care of China and Russia in case Iran shut down what they shut down. It's crazy, man. It's a whole love triangle going on. It's a hate triangle going on. Is Maduro unalive? I don't know. Do you read the chat? I don't know, Soldier Slim. I don't know if he's alive or not. I don't know. So controlling Venezuela resources on behalf of Israel means a Western Hemisphere backup source, less dependence on Middle East choke points, more leverage in negotiations. Yep. In energy terms, that's preparation for war disruptions. All right. So both sides are playing chess. This is a chess match war. Why does Israel push for a war against Iran? Because if the United States weaken Iran militarily, Israel's regional dominance strengthens. Less rival pressure, more free oil for Israel, more freedom of action, more colonial, aka Zionism, and more genocide without any consequences. All right. America is an occupied empire acting on behalf of who? Israel. Israel is the biggest threat to the world peace. Maduro was not captured to stop drug trafficking. Venezuela oil was the key for Israel to make up for a potential loss of Iranian oil. Right. So yeah. Venezuela oil was the key for Israel to make up for the potential loss of the Iranian oil. All right. The very people responsible for the death of millions of innocent lives are now telling you that they care about you. Mm, 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 mm. So, in closing, corrupt leaders are everywhere, but leaders are mainly targeted for their resources, having no Rothschild aligned central banks, criticism of Israel, and exposing Zionist control over America. All right, the media demonizes leaders when it serves a strategic goal, not because they want to liberate you. In fact, they want the opposite. This is why Iran versus Israel plus America tension matters globally. If conflict escalates, it could threaten Hormuz. It doesn't have to be closed fully. Even a small disruption raises oil prices, shake the market, and pressure governments. Energy is power. All right. It's not about democracy. It's not about human rights. It's about power, oil, control, and the greater Israel project. All right. So here's a clear pattern, chat. Free Iran soldiers. Yep. Demonize the leader, right? Who did they demonize? They demonized Ayatollah. They demonized Maduro. Demonized the leader. They demonized what's his name in Cuba. They demonized him. They demonized Gaddafi, right? They demonized Gaddafi before they took him out. Demonized the leader. Control the media and create a narrative. Justify bombing civilians, call it liberation, only to find out it was all a lie. Liberation does not come from foreign powers. All right, so this is the last of this piece right here, and we're gonna get back to the video right here. All right. Yo, we've been at 17 likes for 17 minutes, man. Come on, hit that like. Fidel Castro. Yep, Fidel Castro. That's right, Castro. Right. Sounds like 2021 in America. Yep. Guys, hit that like button. We almost at 20 likes, guys. Hit that like button. Terry said, retired veteran to all my fellow service members on active duty, be safe. Iran is not Venezuela. Facts. Facts. Facts, man. Thank you for your service.
Back in 2016 to now, how it's so different. Womp womp. Thank you, Trump, for sacrificing your most loyal supporters, putting them on the front line. I can't wait to see them come back with an American flag draped over. And I hope their offspring, if they have any, listen to your man RFK for their health advice. Please do the world a favor. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost and we may have casualties, but that's a chance the Orange Man is willing to take from his mansion in Mar-a-Lago. That often happens in war. In war, the president
does not have legal authority to declare war. Mike Johnson, where are you? Have you even heard or seen anything yet, Mike Johnson? Has anybody made sure that Mike Johnson knows what is currently happening? You have the president saying this often happens in war. He has no authority by the Constitution to declare war. He can do strikes for 48 hours, but he cannot declare war. But I can't wait. I can't wait to see his most loyal supporters come back with an American flag draped over. It's going to be so patriotic. Oh, they're heroes.
What
Hello,
the hell?
my name is Adam Ferrari, the Chief Executive Officer of Phoenix Energy. I look forward to you.
So the war has started. The war has begun. The No New Wars president, last night at 2:45 a.m., wants to strike with Israel against Iran. They directly targeted a girls' school, killing 50 young girls, all civilians. All what? So I ask you, MAGA, are we great yet? Is this America first? Because it sure the fuck looks like Israel first.
I'm sorry, but this argument for let's bomb Iran is not making any sense. None of you Republicans make any sense. I thought that you destroyed their capabilities with the bunker bombs. What happened there? Iran, you think that Iran is going to build a nuclear weapon and launch it at the United States? That would be the dumbest thing in the world, okay? That makes absolutely no sense. And think about it when you say it. If Iran was able to build a nuke, all right, they would build one. And let's just say that they launched it at the United States and they hit the United States. That would give the United States permission to go in and take over Iran with no backlash from anybody in the world. And they would take all that oil under them. And if you keep justifying, well, they've got all that oil, so why are they building nukes? They're not building nukes. And if they are, they're doing it for fucking defense, you idiots.
Happy Saturday. I'm just jumping on to remind you that this administration needed Iran to happen to distract everyone from the fact that our president is in the Epstein files over 1,000,000 times. Yeah, that is a fact. Don't let them distract you.
He was the anti-war candidate. No new wars. What the fuck happened to that, MAGA? No new wars. That's on y'all. That ain't on Trump because Trump's a certified liar. We already know he lies about everything.
I am announcing today that the United States will withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal. In a few moments, I will sign a presidential memorandum to begin reinstating U.S. nuclear sanctions on the Iranian regime. We will be instituting the highest level of economic sanction. Any nation that helps Iran in its quest for nuclear weapons could also be strongly sanctioned by the United States. America will not be held hostage to nuclear blackmail.
I clocked into work yesterday. Everything was fine. I clocked out today, finding out we're going to war. Like, what the fuck are we doing? What the fuck is going on? Seriously. I'm the peace president. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Anybody else super confused about the news this morning of us going to war with Iran, attacking Iran? Because this was last summer from the White House. Iran's nuclear facilities have been obliterated.
Not last
But
summer.
now Trump is saying that we need to attack Iran because of, quote, sinister nuclear ambitions. So which is it? Were they obliterated last summer, or did he lie and that failed? Or was that successful and the reason we're going to war with them now is a lie? Which is it, MAGA?
One thing I love about the internet is that there is a receipt for everything. Is this you? Check you out, predicting that you suck at negotiating.
For some, this conflict represents strength and deterrence. For others, It signals instability and the risk of a wider war. From conservative strongholds to international allies, emotions are running high as citizens question what comes next.
Thank God our Prime Minister has declared that we're not having anything to do with it. We are not participating in it. It's an illegal war. We are not going to allow them to use our bases or any of our sites around the world. I doubt, Paul, one single country will rise up and join the Israel-US attacks on
Australia.
Iran.
Australia's backed it.
Yes, but will they join in? This is the Epstein wars. It's so that Trump has got a reason to stop the midterms, and Israel has got a reason to stop the October elections as well. This has got nothing to do with defending the Iranians. And remember, we cannot stop Iran from getting the nuclear bomb. They've already increased their uranium capacity to by about 50% since May, and they've hidden their capacity in the Isfahan mountains.
Yeah.
We can't stop Iran from getting the nuclear bomb, but this war is insane. If we're attacked, we'll have to defend our sites, obviously, but this is not our war. This is America and Israel's war.
I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. No more wars, no more disruptions. We will have prosperity and we will have peace. Under Trump, we will have no more wars, no more disruptions. I am the candidate of peace. I am peace.
At Quanix, we are a worldwide leader in component manufacturing. Right now, especially.
The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure that Americans and our children will never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran.
I'm having a Mad at MAGA day. I don't love to admit that, and I try really hard not to have those days all that often, but I woke up today, and we're bombing Iran. And am I surprised that we're doing that? No. DJT has lied about 6 bajillion things, but we knew that. So many of us have known it. It's now been 10 years of being terrorized by this man, and I'm tired. And I am mad at those of you who voted for him. And I can get past people that voted for him once. I'm having a really hard time getting past people that voted for him twice, and I really am having a hard time stomaching people who voted him the third time. And I've said it before on this channel, there are people I love that are triple Trumpers. And I have a hard time looking at them.
So if you ask me, every single MAGA/Trump supporter should be at your local recruiting station today. You should be at your recruiting station. Take your family with you. Take your kids with you. They probably need to sign up too. To your local recruiting station, put your life on the line. Put your life on the line for this country, because literally you voted for this shit. You voted for the chaos that's coming our way, the chaos that we've already endured. All of this shit that's going on, you voted for it.
If you voted for Trump, go enlist in the military so we don't have to do a draft. Go, this is your war to fight because you voted for it. You voted for this war, so go, get your camos on. Go use that Second Amendment you constantly defend after school shootings. Go. And don't say you didn't know he was going to do this. We told you how many fucking times, and you still voted for him. You know what he was capable of, and you still voted. Go. Get your camo on. Hurry, get your camo on. The fucking tanks are leaving without you.
You think I should get on the front lines and help Iran and fight for the people? Why would I do that? I'm an American, and I'm anti-war. Since you're pro-war, I think you should go hit your nearest recruitment office and sign up. Don't be a pussy, though. Remember what you said here. Front lines. And if you can't do it, how about your kids? If you don't have kids, how about your husband? Or, wife. I know it says Mrs., but if not, then one of your other family members or friends. You want it, so you do it.
I just wanted to say that if you voted for Donald Trump, you should really be ashamed of yourself. If you think that he's a great person, that he's wonderful, you have lost your soul. Like, I'm serious. You have lost what it means to be human. You have sold your soul. You have traded it
you don't have a soul anymore. If you think that you're a good person, if you think that Donald Trump is still making America great again, you have traded your soul. You've given it away. You don't have one anymore. You don't know what humanity means. And you should be ashamed of yourself. You can't take this back. You can't apologize. Doesn't mean anything anymore.
All right, so we attack Iran. Everyone knows that. Everyone's seen it. The only people that this really benefits, it's not us. We benefit absolutely nothing from attacking Iran. The people that benefit from this is Israel.
Yep.
They're the ones who wanted it. They are the ones who have the blackmail on all of the important people in the United States to make this happen, and now it's happened. We didn't need to. Do you really think those negotiations fell apart, or did we back out of them? This is what Iran's wanted this entire time, is to get us into another war. And it's happened so many times. 9/11, the false flag attacks on one of our ships to try and get us into yet another war. It's always been them. I think everyone pretty much knows that.
Hey everybody, so earlier this morning, so even late last night, the United States and I think Israel had like a joint operation of taking out the leader of Iran. So regime change wars are usually actually never work, like ever. They usually don't work. They never pan out. They usually cause a lot of casualties, a lot of chaos, a lot of destruction. Not a big fan of regime change wars. Not a fan of them at all. But I do trust President Trump that maybe he knows something we don't know. Maybe he has a plan that we're not aware of. So that's all you can do. So just pray for the countries involved, pray for America, and pray for President Trump, because you know that this is something he knows his base does not want. Everyone's going to go online and say that Trump is backstabbing the American people. He's backstabbing, his base, etc. He knows his base doesn't want this. So just trust that he knows and that he has a plan to get out of it and to have a fix. Because the last thing you want is an endless war in the Middle East again. We do not want that. We should not promote that. We should not tolerate that. It's a terrible idea. But in the meantime, pray for other countries involved. Pray for the, strong men and women that are participating in this event. Pray for President Trump. And we'll have to see what happens. But instead of, reacting such a negative way, we should just wait and see what happens, because you never know. Maybe something will happen and be like, never saw that coming, and it will end up being like a huge success. Or it could be a tremendous flop. So pray for America, pray for Trump, and we'll just have to see what happens.
Hunt down your opponents in Raid Shadow Legends. Use this
We
promo
Shadow
code to
Legends.
get the legendary Cheshire Cat
We
for free.
Shadow Legends.
I have a 134 IQ. I make less money than friends who barely passed high school. Here's what.
For those.
Uh-oh.
That are hemming and hawing in the wake of our attack on Iran, saying, I thought Trump wasn't going to get us into any new wars. Listen, the understanding was always that President Donald Trump was going to protect the interests of our allies and the United States. 2016, 2020, 2024, President Donald Trump has always said we cannot allow Iran to build nuclear weapons, because the entire planet knows that if Iran has nuclear weapons, it's not a matter of defense for them. When you have an enemy that says death to America, and they have consistently shown the ability to go and murder even their own citizens by the tens of thousands, you believe them when they say death to America. You don't believe them when they say we just want nuclear weapons or nuclear capabilities for power or to defend ourselves. When I got the text this morning saying that we had launched an attack along with Israel and some of our allies in the UK against Iran, the first thing that I thought of was I voted for this. I wanted to see this happen, because too many times on my weekly radio show have I talked about those chants from leadership in Iran of death to America and wondered, why is it that we're allowing this tyrannical regime to continue to threaten the United States and our allies? Well, no more. I pray for President Donald Trump, for this administration, and the brave men and women that hopefully will continue to execute this operation, bring a swift end to it, and a swift end along with the uprising of the Iranian people who are now free of this regime. Thank you to President Donald Trump. God bless President Donald Trump and our troops. I voted for this, and I'll be talking about it on Monday's show starting at 6 a.m.
There have been explosions just down the street from my residence here in Dubai, and all of the flights have been canceled. So it looks like I am stranded here along with many others. But I would like to request that Donald Trump send Barron Trump into this war where, as Donald said, there will be casualties, American heroes. You see, my brother is one of those heroes. He's in the military, and our family did not start this war or choose this war. Your family, Donald, did. So send your son. There's no way you should be the commander in chief and you should not have any skin in the game. Send Barron Trump. Who in your family, who of your blood is in your war?
Moments like this test more than foreign policy. They test public trust, political loyalty, and America's role on the...
That was a good video right there, y'all. That was a good video right there. Trust and believe that. And we're going to end it with Nick Fuentes, see what he had to say. And we're going to call it a day, chat, man. Thank y'all for getting us to 20 likes, man. About time. Appreciate y'all.
You ditched Zyn for Ultra. Here's what you could
Here
feel
we go,
within
man.
your
Here we
first
go.
7 days. 84% noticed.
Party. Trump told us the Iraq war was a mistake and we should have never been there and they didn't even have weapons of mass destruction. All this kind of stuff.
I got you, Ari.
And he gave them everything that they wanted. He utterly betrayed MAGA and the foundational pillar of America First, which is repudiating the legacy of the Iraq war. What does this tell you? It tells you that MAGA, the Republican Party, it's not a failure. It's a success. It is a roaring success. Don't kid yourself when you say Trump failed us. MAGA died. MAGA didn't die. This is what it always was. This is what it was designed to be, which is they came up with a conceit to trick people to vote for them by promising things they never intended to deliver. A border wall, mass deportations, reindustrialization. They didn't have a plan. They didn't have a clue. They weren't serious about any of it. But they wanted the Republicans back in the institutions. They wanted Lindsey Graham in the Senate. They wanted Project Esther in the executive branch. It was a Trojan horse. 10 years in, we are being told a border wall, mass deportations, tariffs. Well, we just can't do it. It's just too difficult because of the law, because of the Democrats, because of the media, because of whatever. But slowly but surely, the United States has assisted Israel in achieving their ultimate plan, which is toppling Iran and all of its proxies. So when they go in 2026 to ask for your vote, you need to remember this. Remember that the Republican Party is building Israel as a superpower while they kill America. While America is being by diversity and illegal immigration, by Haitians and Somalians and illegal Hispanics, and I know ordinaries too, I guess, and people, all these problems that we have that Republicans don't do anything about. Where's our National Guard in the cities? Where's our mass deportations? Where's our Muslim ban? Where's our border wall? While they are complicit in the destruction of this superpower, the Republican Party is building a rival superpower that hates us, So people go out and say, yeah, well, it's a lesser of two evils. Yeah, well, it's better than the Democrats. Is it? Is it better than the Democrats? I'm not sure. I think they're exactly the same thing. And I'm not voting for any of it. They're going to try to get you to vote for Vance. Where was J.D. Vance in 2016? Oh, yeah, he was working with David Frum, a speechwriter for George W. Bush. He was doing his Hillbilly Elegy tour, sponsored by Peter Thiel, creator of Palantir, and he voted for a CIA agent groomed by Bill Kristol from National Review for president, Evan McMullen. That's who he voted for in 16. And you idiots believed him. He changed. He's a Trump supporter now. He saw the light. Now J.D. Vance says, well, we can't overlearn the lessons of Iraq. Not all military actions are a bad thing.
Right.
The guy's a chameleon.
Yep.
He wasn't there in 16. We were there in 16 because we said the Iraq war was a mistake. We don't want Jeb Bush. We don't want AIPAC. We don't want Rubio, who Trump called the puppet of the Adelsons. We wanted America first. We were deceived and we were lied to.
Exactly. Like Nick is on fire. This is so true. The same kind of people.
And we're going to end it on that note, guys. We're going to end it on that note. MAGA, you've been lied to, MAGA. And now they trying to spin it now, y'all. They trying to act like they support. Y'all heard the girl. Sorry. You heard the girl earlier said, "Oh, we we trust Donald Trump. We got to pray for Donald Trump. We trust him." Now they trust him, y'all. Nah, that ain't what's going on. Guys, we done. I can't even, like, I got this cough thing going, y'all. MAGA got facts. MAGA got. They got. But I can't even continue to live, guys. I got this cough I got to take care of and mitigate. Shout out to everybody. JC, man, thank you for that $50 super chat, man. You came through with that one, brother. I appreciate that. Mama Duck. Not Mama Duck. She didn't come through today. Auntie K, thank you for all your support. Always supporting me and moderating the channel. I appreciate you. And everybody, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Have a great week. Have a great rest of your evening. And we will talk to you again another time. See you later. Love you, Auntie. War fronts. Yep, I got it. War fronts. I got it. Thank you. Thank you, Ginger. Bye.